Warning: the Lobo Show contains adult content, crude humor that you may not find moral or against your religion. A lot of bullshit here we talk about. If you're new to this, viewer discretion is definitely advised. All right. Good evening. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To remind you, I am the Lobo, and this is the Lobo Show. And hopefully, you are still tuning in. Holy shit! I'm already getting a notification saying that this hangout is on air for live, but it will no longer do hangouts on August 1st, I guess. Jesus, there's been a lot of fucking changes going on here in this world and on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys will welcome me back. This is the Lobo. Man. And with me, as always, nobody. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's Lobo from the Lobo Show here. And I've been away for a while, man. I just had to take a fucking some time off because all the bullshit that's been going on. Obviously, there's been some purging going on. And I'm telling you right now, man, you guys look at this, what I'm doing right now. You guys look, no big fucking deal. Man, but I had many channels taken down. I saw this purge coming a mile away, and I didn't duck from it. I can assure you that. But what I did do is take a little time off. A little clarity doesn't hurt anybody. A little time to think. But man, what the fuck is going on? And that's what I have to say. That's what I do. I don't know what the fuck. First of all, with fucking YouTube, they can go fuck themselves. That's right off the bat. I'll tell you that right off. I haven't been on the whole YouTube community, and I apologize. But you know me, I'll catch up when I can. And all the real ones, they know what's up. They all know what time it is. But now, like, they're really like purging now. It's like, oh, you can't do this and you can't say that, and there's all these certain type of like holdbacks. Like, they're holding people back. They're holding a lot of people back, and they only want certain content. And I get that. Let me tell you something right off the back. Being a capitalist, being a Lobo, please get your money by any means necessary. Get us all as much money that you can. And I always say this. Be a negotiator in some sense. Whatever they offer you first, don't take it, take more. But I will say, like, yo, but then again, I don't like this whole thing where they're like, hey, listen, we are, the owners. We are the, like, oh, excuse me, I can't say owners anymore in this day and age. Owners, that's a bad word. We're the governors. So I guess we're going back to fucking England and shit. We're governors. But I guess the governors of YouTube and some shit, they're going to have to say, hey, look, man, you're going to have to fucking either basically they are saying this, get with the program or be lost in oblivion. You know what I mean? Be lost in oblivion. And people are like, well, I'll get with the program. I'll do it. I'll do what it takes for the money. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. I ain't got nothing against that. Get your fucking paper, right? But don't sell yourself out, man. Listen, I get it. There's people out there who, with all due respect, they have nothing to do with this conversation. I'm talking about people who make clean content, people who do their thing. I get that. But the people who make edgier content or people who make truth content, and then when I say truth content, I'm not talking about some assholes talking about the UFO and Bigfoot or how fucking, life can be better and shit. I'm talking about truth content, real shit, Lobo Show shit. I'm talking about the shit that I'm about to talk about, like how everything is going on the downfall. But I'll discuss that in a bit. I'll say this, though, man. It's overwhelming, to see that there's a lot of people out there who are telling the truth, right? In just in general, in the world, in the country, or just in YouTube in general, but they're getting shut down, right? And people are saying, well, hate speech and everything. That's complete bullshit. Now, like, listen, YouTube is their own thing. They can shut down who they want to shut down. I totally get that, and I get the hate speech thing, but I don't get that. It's like, what platform do you have? Do you have a platform where there's freedom of speech, or do you have a platform where it's like baby bullshit and you could say what you want to say? Because either way, just be clear about that. I get that. Listen, I'm totally for, like, freedom of speech and everything, but I also understand. I've always been a big person to say there's consequences behind it. Like, if you want to be a fucking Nazi and some shit, it's your freedom to be a Nazi in America. At least in America, it is, right? It's your freedom to be a fucking Nazi and say what the fuck you want to say and shit, and do what you want to do. But you have to be. I don't say you don't have to be, but in this day and age, you have to be accountable for what you say. You have to be accountable for that. So it's like, to me, that's why I say let the fucking chips fall, man. Let anybody do what they want. Let them create a fucking following. But if it's a following that you don't agree with, or it's a following that if you feel that you're morally obligated to come out and say something, then that's where the discussion begins of where's the fine point between freedom of speech and what's not freedom of speech. But when we have this thing now, where it's like, they are literally, it's like they want a certain content out, and they're like, okay, this is the only content we want out. It's okay, right? I get it, because there's a lot of people who shouldn't be penalized for that. And there's people doing makeup videos, or there's people doing reaction videos or unboxing and everything like that. I totally understand. It's like, well, it's business as usual, right? It's business as usual. What the fuck do we care? There's a guy making the fucking video game, like video on YouTube, getting thousands of views. All power to him. But he goes, listen, that's not my fight. I don't care what they're doing on the other side. Our videos are still being monetized, and this is what YouTube wants. I mean, I totally get that. I say thumbs up, right? Capitalism works at its best, and it proves it, right? But I'll take a sip out of that. But I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to a place like, okay, but how far does that go? They're already shutting down a lot of channels for speaking their minds, and they say, well, listen, we have to shut them down now because we have to truly evaluate what they are saying. So it just goes right off the back. They're not truly evaluating any channels. They just go by what the flows. And with all due respect to the person who's getting like 7,000 views on per video, with all due respect, they still don't give a shit about you. They're looking at the people who got hundreds of thousands, who's getting that fucking, the GoFundMe's, the PayPals, and all this other bullshit. The pay, they'll GoFundMe, all that bullshit they got, right? Excuse my shit. I'm all over the place, but you know what I fucking mean over here when I say that. So it's like they don't really give a shit about the little channels. So they don't. But I see that they're really putting emphasis on the little channels, especially when they're talking about freedom of speech, and people are talking about. When I say freedom of speech, it's like this, right? Yes, you are free to say what you want to say on YouTube and Google, 100%, as long as to their agenda, as long as is what they want to hear. You know what I mean? To them, they go, well, that's free speech. If you're pro LGBTQ, that's free speech. If you are pro abortion, that's free speech. If you are pro, guys being the bottom of the totem pole and women can do it all, the end all be all, then that's free speech in their eyes. Now, listen, man, you can believe what the fuck you want to believe. And I say this, I wish I had a fucking visual picture of a guy who wants to be a fucking giraffe because he identifies himself as a giraffe, right? I guess that's the fucking case. I guess that's the case. But I mean, come on, though. Are you really going to hold down the people who are against that? And I'm not saying, here we go. Speed bump. This is the part what I don't get. What is he saying? Anti-LG? Well, I don't give what the fuck you call me. But I'm trying to say, is this the time? Is this the part when we say like, hey, listen, anybody who's going to even question the authority or like the call from the top, like, hey, listen, don't get it twisted. Like, this is coming from the top. It's like this is coming from the bottom, and this whatever. This is coming from the top, and anybody that question that, like, we're crazy. Let me tell you something, man. This is what, 4th of July today. If I'm looking at my clock right now, it's early in the morning. It's 4th of July, right? America's Independence Day. Most people know this as a movie, but it's a true holiday. But you know what? We're living in this country now where it's like that's guilty. We're not even sure if that's something okay to be celebrating, because everything in the fucking world is racist according to this new age people. Let's be very very frank here. Independence Days, it was something it was something to be celebrated. It was something to, you know what? Let me just backtrack a little bit because I digress a lot, and I do that, and I apologize. I am the Lobo Show. Oh, go fund me. I'm a liberal. I need $10,000. But it's something like this, right? If we were to go back in time and think about history, right? Because me, in some sense, I'm a history buff, and I hate to use that word because it's like whatever. I'd rather use that word than as a comic book buff. But as a history buff, I feel like sometimes it's like history is always with the times, right? For hundreds of years, we were saying Christopher Columbus, excuse me, thumbs up on this guy. He had discovered America. We were taught this in school. If anybody who is, I would say, about 25 and older would attest to this in some sense. And I'm not talking about it. They took it further and they went to like fucking college and everything. I get that. That's when you really learn the truth at the time. But before, it was like when you're in high school, you're in elementary school, it was all about Christopher Columbus. He discovered America. He could do no wrong. He could do no wrong, right? We had a day off for the guy. There's monuments and statues all over the country about this guy, right? Christopher Columbus Day. But now we're living in this fucking world where it's like, hey, Christopher Columbus was a tyrant. He was a fucking bigot. He was a racist. He fucking captured slaves, and he was the worst kind of man there ever was, right? So now they take down the Christopher Columbus statues, they take down his legacy, they take down his lineage. Hell, no more Christopher Columbus Day. And I say, when it comes down to that, tread lightly, my friends. Now, I'm not one of these angry guys who said we should do this and we should think about it. I told you, this is the Lobo Show. This is more of a platform. You kind of know where I'm going with this, but I don't suggest anything. I let people make their own minds, right? So where are we going with this? So 100 years ago, hey, let's just say this, not even 100 years ago. Let's not date ourselves that much. 25 years ago, Christopher Columbus was practically a fucking saint. Christopher Columbus Day, there's a holiday after him. We had a day off. It's usually on a fucking Monday. The Italian Americans were a lot of happy about that, But now this guy's a fucking sham. Now, here's the thing, right? Who weren't shams? What about fucking Andrew Jackson, the guy in the $20 bill here in America, if you're American, right? I mean, maybe we should do a little research on him. I don't think that I think that Christopher Columbus is, I don't know, better than him. No, here's the thing. My founding fathers, I get that totally. It's Independence Day. I'm not repping none of those guys, but it's like, how do you judge that? How do you judge that? So we're living in this world now where everything is different now, right? So now we have a situation where the the original flag of America, if you now it currently has 50 stars on it. It's beautiful, the beautiful flag that America is, Old Glory. It's beautiful, the red stripes and the white stripes and the fucking the blue background and the fucking stars, 50 stars, right? To represent each state. But back then it was the 13 colonies, right? And I don't want to go, trust me, don't want to bore you to death to name them all. But I will say this. It was a symbol of this was America before the Civil War, and then the Civil War happened. And the Civil War, like I said, I don't want to fucking bore you to death. And believe me, I'm probably gonna have like 4 fucking people that listen to this anyway. But the Civil War was the North versus the South, right? The North versus the South, right? But essentially it was the Confederates versus what they would call the Yankees. But it's like, hey man, we they when it came down to it, right? At first Lincoln was like, hey, look, man, this is not about slavery. This is about these guys are trying to overthrow the government, and we feel otherwise. This is the government, but they don't like it, so they want to overthrow it, right? And when it came down to it, that's what it was. That was the Civil War, but essentially it was about fucking slavery. It really essentially was just like they were so afraid that their world and their livelihood was gonna fucking change. You know what I mean? Now, Lincoln President Lincoln at the time had to do what he had to do at the time because he was losing the war. Believe it or not, the North was losing to the Confederate fucking, the Confederates. And they were very serious about having their own president, their own government, and they were going to run fucking things. They didn't feel like the North, New York and Chicago and whatever the North should be running things, the South should be running things. And it was almost there. And we almost fucking lost. And we almost could have went back to the slaveries and their way of life and shit. But we didn't. We ended up winning. But still, in terms of the politics, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like doing my research on it, uh, this guy Abraham Lincoln definitely didn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight, and he said this. He was like, "Listen, if I can avoid this war and not free any slaves, I would." I would. He said, but the South is, or the Confederates is so adamant about this war that we have to go fully through with it. Now, this is something that now, it's something like now it's come more to light. Now, obviously, we know what happens. North wins, and Abraham Lincoln is immortalized. The $5 bill on this Abe. He's on the penny. He's on two currencies. American currency, and he's known as one of the greatest presidents of all time. But is that going to hold up? After we just heard he said, "Hey, look, man, I'm just doing this to win this fucking thing. I don't want to lose this fucking country and shit." It's weird how we interpret life years from now, especially now. We're living in this rapid rate. Everything is fast, Everything is fucking fast. Everything is some shit like, hey, like what the fuck? 100 years, like I said, 100 years ago, fucking, Columbus was a fucking saint. And now people are like, hey, people now, they can look it up. They go, I don't understand how come people wasn't calling on him and shit 100 years ago. But I'll tell you why, though. Because it wasn't so fucking bad. You look at the fucking history of the world. The history of the world was always people who conquest this world were the people that we talk about into this day. You want to talk about Genghis Khan. You want to talk about Cleopatra in Egypt. You want to talk about Napoleon Bonaparte. It's like in terms of history, we always talk about the winners. We don't talk about the losers. And I'm pretty sure that was like, written somewhere by some ancient philosopher who said history is written by the winners. The winners, excuse me. History is written by the winners. But essentially, that is true. And we have to we live in a culture. And when I say culture, not Americans, but human beings, we live in a culture where the winners are immortalized at all times. They are immortalized. Like I said, Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte, fucking Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great. And I'll be, oh, is it just men? Well, I'm sorry, honey. That's the way it was fucking written. I don't know what the fuck you want from me and shit. That's the way it was written. And it is what it is. But now we're living in this age where it's like, it's the outrage age. It's the age of outrage in some sense. It's the age where every man has a voice. And we know this now. What we got? Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, right? You got all these crap that's out there. Everybody's got a fucking opinion now. And everybody's got a fucking 2 cents. There's people out there who's never did any research in the world. And I'm not trying to say that, I'm not saying that this guy is not a racist. I'm not saying guy or whatever the fuck, right? I'm not saying if he's right or if he's not right. But there are people out there who literally did 5 minutes of a research on Wikipedia and Google, and now they're a fucking expert, like this Colin Kaepernick, which is sickening. And if anybody's still listening this far, anybody knows what I have to say, this is Colin Kaepernick, excuse me. Former football player, quarterback, failed football player when it comes down to it. And he came out and he said that there was a secret. Apparently, like I don't know. This guy made news for always taking a knee. He was like one of the first guys to take a knee during the whole NFL thing, and he's like a BLM guy, Black Lives Matter. he's like now like he won this lawsuit with the NFL because NFL didn't want to pursue it because it was through legal battles, not necessarily legal battles, but it was through backlash of the fans and shit. Just like, all right, we don't want to pursue it, so they settle out of court. So he seems vindicated. That's how way he feels. I feel like this guy's a Jesse Smollett of the in professional sports. Jesse Smollett, disgraced actor who tried to claim himself as this MAGA guy. If you don't know him, please Google him. Same thing with this guy, right? So not everybody kiss ass because nobody wants to look like the the anti this or the anti that. They don't want to go against the grain, if you will. So this guy, fucking Kaepernick, is like, I believe they made him a consultant in for Nike. So they came out with this shoe. Nike comes out with this shoe, and it's with like they have a logo of the 13 colony flag. It's like the American flag, but the 13 colonies. And they're coming out with it, but then Kaepernick say, "Hey, wait a minute, put a halt to that. That's racist. That's like racist. There's a lot of lineage to that." And I want to say this, right? Like I said, we're living in this day and age where every fucking mutton head has a fucking opinion, right? Every idiot's got something to say, and it's usually nothing. But I'll say this: it's like, what the fuck? I think your opinion is bullshit. I think you have no leg to stand on. And I think that, especially during Independence Day, it's like, is this a publicity stunt? Is this guy coming out and Nike, them two they're all in cahoots to make a greater publicity to sell more sneakers? Or is this truly a real thing? Because if this is truly a real thing, I think they're tugging at the emotions of the real, true American people who gives a shit about this country. When they're saying like, oh, now they're saying like Betsy Ross, which is like, it's one of these fable things, like these names that you don't hear for like, it was about 200 years ago about some lady who sold a fucking flag. We don't know if that's 100% true. Nobody knows because there's no fucking Instagram. There's no fucking, Snapchat. There's no FaceTime. So how the fuck do we know it's true? But you got guys like Kaepernick and shit who's going out of the way saying, hey, I know for a fact this shit ain't true. And if it is, the shit was racist and everything. Man, get the fuck out of here. That red, white, and blue and the stars and shit fought against the fucking Confederates. They say, listen, like it or not, that fucking slave shit is wrong. That shit shouldn't be happening. They fought against it. That red, white, and blue fought fucking against that Confederate shit. If we would have lost, let me tell you something. If you do your history on your fucking Civil War, it's pretty damn close. But if you do your research, we won that fucking thing. Hey, man, America saved the fucking day once again. I think people just tend to forget shit like that. Or I guess people believe it's evil to be patriotic and, show some respect for your country and shit. And I love the fact that, like, a lot of these liberals, they go, oh, yeah, like, especially you see what's going on with these Antifa Marys, especially in the Pacific West Coast, the North Pacific West. Listen, man, like, they're running amok and shit because they don't know reality. They never did. They live in the West Coast. They don't know reality. They think the reality is California, Washington, and shit. That's as far as it goes. They don't know shit what the fuck is going on. And like, you see this, man, is what's going on every day, and it's fucking just delusion. It's delusion, man. And I challenge anybody like who has something to say, well, no, you're wrong about that, Lobo. No, man, it is. It's fucking delusion. There's a lot of people out there who are pro-Trump, who are conservatives. None of us necessarily conservatives. Like I said, I don't want to go there about conservatives are right and the left are wrong. I'll tell you this right now. I don't know what the fuck people want to call out the left. I call it like Antifa, whatever you call those pink hair, pro LGBTQ, hardcore, pro abortion. Like they want to kill the baby in 9 months. I don't even think those are like lefts. The left. I don't know what that is. Those are anti-Americans when it comes down to it. They can call themselves whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, but they're anti-American. Now, here's the thing. People like from England might hear this or another country go, oh, yeah, just shut the fuck up. This ain't nationalism. We have a problem here in this own country, and I'm just trying to address my own people. But I also welcome anybody who's got an open ear to come listen to the show. If they got an opinion, I hear you on that shit. But don't fucking judge what I got to fucking say because nobody's saying this on YouTube. People would rather fucking get high, talk bullshit, pull out bullshit facts about Bigfoot or the UFOs or just meaningless bullshit on YouTube. Believe it or not, man, the views may not merit it, But if you listen to the Lobo show, there's actually content here, man. There's actually some shit in here that is actually worth discussing more than any of the other shit, man. And it's just like I'm saying, like I said, dude, it's a fucking shame what's going on, bro. It's a fucking shame. And I'm not here for oh, I'm here for fucking views and shit. I needed to get this off my chest because truth of the matter is, bro, like I truly feel like this shit the Lobo. I've been away for a while, man, and it's because like I said, there's a lot of bullshit. It's like nowadays, it's all this YouTube is like, oh, you can't do this. Please submit your fucking videos and shit, and get the fuck out of here with that, man. It's like I don't know, man. I'm not with that fucking. I'm not with that fucking bullshit. Like trying to play the laws. I've never been. I don't give a goddamn. It's fucking 4th of July. It's 4th of July, man, and I just want to get the shit fucking popping. I want to get the shit drinking. It is very fucking early here, and yeah, Lobo show, man. Hopefully, like I said, man, there's a lot of bullshit that's going on, with corruption of the government, and what else you're gonna do, man? There's always gonna be that, but hopefully, I will be here to tell you the motherfucking truth and shit, man. I'm not here trying to be here all night with it. I'm not here trying to fucking get any attention here. I felt like the time was right for me to get on the fucking mic and rant about some shit. And that's the shit that I fucking hold dear to. It's Independence Day, and hopefully that everybody will have fucking, good time today and not be so fucking political on this day. And I know people go, what are you talking about? This is the day to be that political. Like, no, it isn't, man. Listen, political, yes. Let's have some conversation. But to bash America on Independence Day, fuck that. Not on my time, not on my watch, and damn sure not me, not without me saying anything. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a short rant, and I do appreciate your time. I am the Lobo from the Lobo Show. I bid you a good night and a good luck. Thank you very much. Have a great day. And holla at me. Anybody who hasn't seen me in a while, holla at me. You know who you is, especially the broads and shit. You know what I'm talking about? But hey, yeah. Take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day.